Yeah.
Okay, so this is a Aussie broadband AC. All right. Now I haven't actually seen this text at all. So what this opportunity would present is how I go through a text that I haven't seen before, and what are the process of analyzing, breaking down this text, and how that would translate to the actual AC. Okay, so let's have a look at this piece here. So this is a written text, obviously, because we don't have any spoken discourse features. By the way, because I'm going to use this as a teaching material, I'll just be talking about and making comments about the text that you may already know. Okay, hope you don't mind.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't mind. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a written text from Aussie Broadband. Okay, so this is a company, right? So this is a company with a service. Obviously, it's directed to customers. So this innately, intrinsically speaking, there may be a content function. Okay, because there's a company and it's directed to customers. Okay, now then it says about the network issues lately. Okay, so it's about an issue that is at fault with Aussie broadband. Okay, so it's probably like an apologetic, sort of like a apologetic email, right? And it's message to a single person, right? Ben Say, and from the managing director Philip Britt, okay, whom I think would represent the Aussie broadband company. Okay, so straight away it looks like it's going to be slightly formal, given the fact that it's coming from a company and it's apologizing in nature, so apologetic in nature about network issues. But obviously that's our anticipation. It may be informal, but we'll have a look. Okay, so let me just scan through the text. I want to let you know about range of improvements. Okay, so there's positive connotation straight away. Working tirelessly on our Aussie Fiber project. Okay. One of these role we have needed to undertake a lot of schedule outages. So you can see that there's a little bit of informality here where they're using capitalization to mimic prosodics, to mimic loud voice. Okay. All of these during the middle of the night. Hopefully you have only actually seen one or two, but these okay. So explaining the situation. Okay. And essentially trying to so, essentially trying to justify why these outages or issues have occurred. Okay, tricky work. In fact, we've been rebuilding the plans, we're finding it. So there's a lot of idioms as well, so colloquial language. But in the spirit of no BS, one of our values, so we can see profanity, but reduced form. Okay, so you can see quite informal, colloquial. We want to put our hand up and own something that haven't gone right. So active voice, very, very good feature here. In terms of taking active responsibility, assuming culpability, assuming their fault. This goes well with the apologetic function, or really the referential function in delivering the apology. Okay. Unfortunately, some of this migration may have not gone as smooth as we would have liked. So, okay, slightly euphemistic, as smooth as we would like. Unscheduled outages for our customers, slightly euphemistic. Okay, because of the elevated Lexus. Actually not elevated Lexus because of the almost like a jargon nature, unscheduled outages. Okay, slightly jargonistic outages. Okay. Um, I want to sincerely apologize for this. So again, active voice, and let you know the project is close to being completed. If you haven't already, you should start to see. Okay, so modal verbs definitely worth discussing there. Less outage notification. We're really excited, ending on a good note, positive conditions back again. Okay, so how that contrasts with the negative one, no BS, unfortunately, unscheduled, apologize, and how that contrasts with connotations, another very good feature here. Opportunities, positive connotations, this new network for it. Okay, patient understanding. All right, okay, this is a pretty fair and square text. So straight away, I would say, I haven't seen your text now. I haven't seen any of your writing. Okay, I'm just going to put that on the side for a second. I would consider the best features of this text to be, let me just, okay, am I not able to move this to the left more? No, okay, that's as much as I can go. All right, so I would say the best features would be number one, active voice. Active voice is a very good feature for the function, referential function, in delivering the apology. Number two, I would say another purpose is to maintain the brand reputation as not only one with responsibility, but also professionalism. So responsibility comes with the genuine apologetic tone and so many features, active voice and stuff like that. And also like colloquial language, like no BS, appearing down to earth. But at the same time, they're using all positive connotations to reinforce the brand image, to salvage their positive face needs. Okay, so these are the best features I would say. Colloquialism, profanity, connotations in contrasting negative and positive. Um, the basically the informal features which are used to replicate spoken discourse. Very good. Okay, sounding very conversational, therefore down to earth, therefore genuine in apology. At the same time, slightly jargonistic at times. To buttress or bolster their like migrations, normalizations, unscheduled outages, slightly jargonistic. These things there would be there to counterbalance the informality and to bolster the professionalism. Okay, so these are the best features I would say. Now let's have a look at what you've done. Okay. Now any questions with my actual like a short breakdown of this text?
Yeah. No questions. Yeah.
Do you agree with everything I've discussed? Was
Yeah.
there anything? No? Okay, well, let's have a look at what you've mentioned. Okay. This text is written email published. It's not published, it's written. Okay. By the way, I'm gonna use a editing mode. Oh, okay, it's already there. Written. Oh, that's not good. You can just get rid of it. Okay, just by managing directive. Brit on behalf of the network company Zebra in response to recent evaluation by wait. Why is there double up? Okay, make sure you proofread. Okay, prima facie, the text serves the purposes. No, this is a function. Okay, informing is well, the moment you use the word inform, it's 100% function, right? So the purpose cannot be informed. The purpose is to salvage the post-face needs of the company to to maintain professionalism at the same time accountability. So your purpose is not only incorrect, it's actually a function. Okay, so purpose of what? Of maintaining professionalism and accountability in midst of network outages. Okay, thereby salvaging the company's positive face needs. Okay, and then you would say, alternatively, the function, the primary function is referential by informing customers of new upgrades while apologizing for. That would be beautiful. Okay, that would be beautiful. Now, I don't like the emotive function because you haven't elaborated on this at all. So get rid of that.
Yeah.
In-group solidarity, nah, not really. Okay, it's not really solidarity. Yes, he does use Australianisms and like colloquialisms and like no BS, but that's more to do with the salvaging. That's more to do with the company's face needs and accountability and stuff like that. So, okay. Now this last sentence is like very weird. Okay, the register is informal with strong elements of formality. It's like informal with it's like it's saying two things, right? It's like a polar opposite, but you don't give enough credit to either, right? So you don't explain why it's informal, you don't explain why it's formal. So this is a big mistake here. So what you want to do here is always basically always provide a brief reason, brief rationale as to why the text is informal or formal, and gloss over register shift. Okay, so don't you can say with strong elements of formality, right? But if it's strong elements, so is it informal or is it formal, right? So it sounds like you're on the fence. You're very unsure here. Maybe you are very sure, but the language says otherwise. Okay, so the student examiner is like you're like sitting on the fence. You're risk adverse. You don't want to say you don't want to say if it's informal or formal. So do you think it's informal or formal? Like if you have to choose, is it more formal and more informal? What would you say?
More informal.
Yes. Okay, so you would say the rest of the text is moderately informal with what? Occasional diversions to formality, and you give you reasons why. Why? Okay, in order to what? In order to, how would you finish the sentence for me?
Uh, in order to appear professional to salvage their face.
Yeah, exactly. So, oh well, you don't want to say the same word thing again, but you
Yeah.
want to say yeah. So, in order um to uh to establish expertise and yeah professionalism. Okay, something like that. Done. Okay. All right, so that would be a good ending sentence. Always provide reasons to formality or, in this case, informality. Either way is fine. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Next body paragraph. But this is a pretty good introduction, except that you stuffed up the purpose and the function. So again, with the purpose, right? The purpose, right? The purpose is never going to be encapsulated by one word descriptors like referential or informative or stuff like that. Like if you start with the word persuade, inform, referential, it's never going to be purpose. Okay. Purpose like promote, maintain, those words are purpose. Promote something, maintain face needs, establish expertise. These words are purpose, not referential, informative. Does that sort of make sense? Because
Yeah.
these function. Very good. Okay, so let's have a look at the next bit. Okay, so a number of lexical, syntactic, and semantic features amalgamate to uphold elements of. It's a bit weird. This is a bit haphazard. This opening sentence. You can simply say stylistic features. Okay. Stylistic. So you can say stylistic features from you know you don't even need to signpost, to be honest. At times stylistic features um coalesce in a slightly informal written text. Okay. To Oh well, the thing is here you say informality, so you want to link more towards informality because that's what you say here. Okay, so slightly informal text while relationships are also apparent. Okay.
So I have a question about this one.
Question.
So in my next paragraph, like I sort of mixed like the purposes and register into two separate paragraphs of formal and informal, but like I don't know why, but I just chose my first paragraph to be formal features. So like
You have two registered paragraphs, is that right?
basically, yeah.
Okay, don't ever do that again. Holy crap, don't ever do it again. Okay. So this second body paragraph should be a register plus other situational context apart from function, purpose. Does it make sense? Because function, purpose, culture, context should be your next body paragraph.
So like how do I separate my register plus other situational context from my function and purpose? Because I'm finding it like really hard to like
Yes.
not like draw links.
Yes, yes. So the thing is, you got to be very careful, right? So the thing is, the same feature, right? The same feature could be used in the register paragraph or the what? Or the functional purpose paragraph, right? Functional purpose paragraph. Does it make sense? So
Yeah.
you need to decide, okay, if you link to register, say informal or formal, what are the ways of elaborating? Well, I'll give an example. If it's informal, if you want to link to informality, what would you say? You would say something along the lines of it contributes to a conversational tone, for example, or contributes to humor, or reduces social distance. these are the things that you can, well, actually, this is a bit like a purpose, but anything that links to conversation tone or humor would link to the informal register. If you want to link something to, if linking to formality, you would talk about stuff like expertise, professionalism, okay? Objective, lending an objective tone, etc., etc. These are more links to register. Now, obviously, if you link to function and purpose, okay, then obviously you would have different elaborations. You would have focus on the stylistic effects of the features, okay, instead of saying conversational tone or basically the above points.
So I don't link to stylistic effects in my register.
Exactly, because this, well, or another way of saying it is that the stylistic effect of the register examples are conversational tone or humor, or expertise, professionalism, or objective tone for formal. Does it make sense? That would be the stylistic effect there. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll show you an example. Okay. So if you say here, the formality of the elevated Lexus, first of all, that's not really elevated. I read the text. There's not really any elevated text because elevated Lexus. So elevated Lexus means it's a word that the ordinary everyday Australian would not understand. I'm sure they understand what these two words mean. Okay. So that's not okay, essentially. This is a bad example.
Yeah.
Jargonistic phrases like network, okay, I'll give you that. Okay, internet's probably bad. I like outage. Like, what was that? Do we have outages? Like 18 would be good. So internet is I think everyone answered internet, but outages is like, slightly technical, right? So 18, that would be good. Okay. Contribute to professional tone, that's good. So you did link to professional tone, which is good, right? Because that links to formality. To establish expertise, not express. Okay. Well, precisely informing readers of the specific elements. So no, you would not link that to for a function. You want to say, okay, you want to say thus, okay, allowing them to and thus contributing, such elevating the register, something like that. So you want to make the link to register rather than make a link to function. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
And then this entire example is beautiful. It is a euphemism. Okay. And I did call this out before when I read this. So you are very good in getting this example out. But this example entirely should be allocated to the next paragraph. Does make sense? So that should be in the function purpose paragraph. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is a really good example there. Okay. Indeed, the use of a negative marker not preventing backlash. Again, this will be in the next paragraph. Does make sense? It's nothing to do
Yeah.
with register. Why would you put there? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because like I mixed mine. That's why it's a
Yeah.
bit like, yeah.
Will reassures very instant is bloody good. This is a very good example. So again, very good example. And analysis, I'll give you that. But again, should be in the next paragraph. Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now you know, okay? At least now you know. Register just by itself, and then function purpose by itself. Okay.
So what other points would I put in there? Like, because if it's like,
So
what other points would I put in the register paragraph?
yeah, so in the register paragraph, what you would have aim for 45 features of formality or informality, depending if register shift, right, is present, right? So in this situation, you want to be having like maybe like 2-3 examples of informal language and maybe 2-3 examples of formality. Right now, you've got jargon for formality, which is fine. Another example for formality may be normalizations. So normalization is the process of turning words and other word classes into nouns. An example would be migrations in 17, notifications in 21. So these are examples that you can link to formality, and that you can link to saying that it, has an objective tone, or you can say that it has objective or serious sort of tone to it, and then you can link that to formality. That would be an example for formality. Informality wise, I mean, I'm sure you have examples here. So yeah, so this is not yeah, metaphor or idiom would be good here. Yeah, capitalization is good, but you want to say that it replicates. Yep, so you did have that as well. Very good. You have really good analysis. I feel like you have really good analysis, except the structure is a bit weird. Okay.
Yeah.
But once we fix the structure, you are on very good track. To in the subject. So informatic, yes, I agree. In terms of informatic, I would have examples like yeah, like profanity. Okay, no BS in line 15. I would have examples like what you said before about the hyperbolic metaphor in line 13 to 14. I would have examples of that capitalization, non-standard capitalization. Make sure you want to say it's non-standard, by the way. Line 7. I hope these examples does make sense.
So like how do I decide whether to put in my register paragraph or my function and purpose paragraph?
Very good question. That is the difficulty about English language. English language, so it's this is what separates a top student from a mediocre student. A mediocre student puts the best examples in the register paragraph. That's terrible because register paragraph is a weaker paragraph. Function purpose, stronger paragraph. So a good student will give the best examples to the function purpose paragraph. So what you want to do is you want to figure it out. Okay, you want to figure out the best stylistic features. If you have a feature with really good stylistic effects, you would put that in the function purpose. If you have a feature that's kind of mundane, like normalization, you put that in the register paragraph. So that's basically my register paragraph for this text. Okay, now my function purpose paragraph will be different. So can I get rid of this? I'll write here. Okay, so this is what my function purpose paragraph would look. Okay, so number one, I will have example. Remember the best example, active voice. That's such a good example. Like we literally, I want to sincerely apologize for this. Like line 19, like what better example in an apologetic text than active voice, assuming culpability. Yeah, maintaining that accountability and professionalism. Beautiful example. Okay. Another example is what you discussed here as well. The positive connotations. Yeah. Capitalizing on the company's what hard work. Hard work essentially. Right. So many examples there. Sleepless nights. Stuff like that. Okay. Like sleepless nights. Opportunity line 20 what was that, line 22, sleepless nights line 10. Like these examples will be number 2. I would have these. Can you see why these are good? Because you can't put this anywhere else. Like you can't put this example in register because it doesn't link to informal. Active voice, you can't put that in register because it's only function purpose. So that sort of makes sense.
Yeah, so essentially, do I just like in my head when I'm like initially reading through the text, do I just like go like in my head, do I just like rank
Yeah.
the stylistic effect and then just
Yes.
put the bottom 6 into register, chuck it in
Yes,
there, and then
you
the
got
rest
it.
just
You got it. Okay, so normally students would get this point in like June. You got it in bloody February. So that's really good. Okay, good on you. Okay, that's excellent. And you start ranking and so forth. Okay, so I think you got really good examples, but you just need to have better structure in number one, writing it. Number two, allocating it. So yeah, idioms are very good. Brutal, honestly, these are all very idioms and yeah, idioms linked to cultural context. And I also like the fact that you discuss cultural context here because the function purpose paragraph also has cultural context. Very good. Australian values. Yeah. So all this stuff here is really good analysis, but you wanna get rid of all this stuff in the previous paragraph.
yeah. So do I move that around or just
Yeah, get rid of
stop
all
it?
this and put this in the function purpose paragraph. So make this second body paragraph entirely in function purpose. So keep all that in this paragraph, but get rid of all this crap. Yeah, because all that kind of stuff should be in the register stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And like examples like person pronouns are not that great. It's
Yeah.
generic. Yeah. So you want to avoid these boring examples as well, like contractions. I know you don't have contractions, but examples like contractions, stuff like pronouns is pretty boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Cohesion coherence is a pretty straightforward paragraph. So colloquial metaphor, omit unnecessary jargon, moving into info. Yeah, good. Don't just say a layperson audience. I mean, you should be very specific here. This is Ben Tay, who's, I believe, a customer of Aussie Broadband, right? So you want to be very specific here. It's not directed to anyone else. It's just so you want to say Ben Tay, you know, assumably, and you know, an Australian customer of Aussie Broadband, like something like that. You be very specific there.
Yeah.
Not sure what ring. Yep. Bridge intention was smooth and easy. For smooth and easy to read discourse. Smooth and easy to read discourse is not a good way of expressing this. To Brit's intention of a smooth, easy to read. You want to say Brit intends to ensure that the discourse is smooth and easy to read. Okay, by maximizing understanding and minimizing ambiguity. Something like that, it's much better. So you also need to work on your expression as well. I feel like you go.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I've been struggling recently with expression. Like sometimes I just can't express things the way I can express it like informal like language. Like when I try to put it into writing, it just doesn't come out right, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I totally get what you mean. So the thing is, number one, it's about practice because you need to have you need to basically write a lot so that you know how to use words. Essentially, that's one thing. Number two is you need to from the feedback I provide you, you can actually learn a lot from you know, like the kind of expression I use, the structure I use, my voice, and that will help you develop your own voice. So it's a lot of it. It's about exposure. A lot of it is about exposure to good writing, and the more good writing you are exposed to, the more you are likely to write a similar sort of voice. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a look at, yeah, lexical cohesion. So when you say field specific lexis, it's more like semantics. It's more like hyponymy. So that would not be that. That would not be right. So this lexical cohesion is when you have repetition, right? You haven't used repetition. You say consistent uses. That's not really repetition. The moment you say field specific, that's obviously hyponymy. Okay. So when you use like categorical words, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
So if you want to use like a cohesion, you have to say lexical repetition of content words.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. This row out doesn't have any like noun phrase. Like you should have at least some meta language here. So you want to use the demonstrative, like you want to focus on this as you want to describe it as demonstrative pronoun, something like that. You need more specific meta language, because the noun phrase doesn't refer to anything. It's the pronoun that refers to this thing, right? So you don't need to mention this. Just say the demonstrative pronoun is enough. This, yeah.
Yeah.
From verbiage, very good. The rest is fine. You don't even need to read that. You don't even have that sentence. Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
How long does this take you, just AC?
Honestly, like I read it over like a really long time.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, is this your first AC this year?
Yeah, it's my very first one.
Well, I'm really impressed, Ethan. This is a very good work. For your first AC, this is impressive. But as I said before, structure needs a lot of work. But I'm sure you'll get there. You have good foundations. You have good analysis. You have good analytical skills. You understand the text a lot. You're able to get the best features, or some of the best features. You miss out active voice, which is the best feature of this text. But you've got other good features like idioms and linking to values and very, very good analysis. Okay, so this stuff here is very, very commendable. Okay, but yeah, definitely for your next piece of work, make sure you work on structure. Any questions?
Can you give me like a more detailed structure? I just need like something to follow, if you know what I mean.
Sure. Okay, so number one, I'll go through the structure with you. Okay, of a written AC, because this is a written AC, right? So number one, a first body paragraph. So obviously you have the introduction, right? And then you have your first body. Okay, and that would be the register plus select situational context, anything but function and purpose. Okay, so register linking to setting, audience, whatever. So here I would have like 45 examples of register. You would analyze, mention how they support register, and at the end of that paragraph, have a sentence or two explaining the reasoning behind the register, like why it is formal, why it's informal. Okay, and
So
then
actually, for this first paragraph, I have a question. So you know how you said to like basically when you like the stylistic effect equivalent of register would be to say that this conveys a conversational tone or humor or etc. How if we were going to use like multiple features and basically we were going to say the same thing, how would we phrase that so that it's like it's unique to each feature, not just saying conversational tone like 10 times?
very good feature, very good point. Okay, so unfortunately, so first of all, there's both sides to your question. Number one, unfortunately, register paragraph is really repetitive because there's only a few things that link to informality, and it's quite repetitive, as you said before. Humor, conversation tone, usually is all that's it for informality. An air of erudition, profundity, objective tone, uh, expertise, professionalism is usually that's it for formality. So you want to find examples which have different stylistic effects, but it's okay if you repeat once or twice for the register paragraph. It's fine, but
Yeah.
don't
So would it be
have like
better
five.
if I like if would it be better if I grouped my examples then?
No, because you don't want to do that because every example is slightly different. The conversational tone is created in different ways. For example, this one here, the capitalization creates conversational tone through mimicking loud voice as part of prosodics. Other examples of conversation tone are using colloquial language, everyday language. So the way they create conversation tone is different, and that is how you want to explain. So the focus is actually on explaining how the example gets to conversational tone rather than conversation tone itself, because everyone knows conversation tone.
Okay, so then in that case, would I say that like um in a very blunt manner, like I can't think of how to phrase this right now, but like my like topic sentence would be my like my register is blah blah blah. Then what I would go on to say is the text conveys a conversational tone, and then example explain with the
Um,
different elements of conversational tone making that up, if that makes sense.
yeah, I get your structure. I actually don't like that. I would have example by example by example. I would say, for example, I would say first example is I'll write you an example. I'll write you two analysis. I'll show you how it works. Okay. So for example, you in the register paragraph, we had the topic sentence. So this is the second sentence. You can say something like this. Okay. You said the capitalization, the non-standard capitalization. I'll write one for you. Okay. LOT in line 7 replicates a spoken discourse by mimicking loud voice. Okay. Okay, and then you say thus engendering a conversational tone that okay that contributes to informality. Okay. Alternatively, oops, mimicking is a loud voice. Yep. Alternatively, okay, or in addition, whatever other examples, what's the other example we had on informality? Give me one that you mentioned.
Uh, um,
I put our hand up. It's like an idiom, right? Did you put that? Oh,
yeah,
you put that in. Wait, because I don't want to overlap with the issue.
I put that in function and purpose.
Okay, where was the one that we put? I think we wrote
Of
it.
informality is like all this, I think.
Oh yeah, profanity. Yep, yeah, there we go. Yep. So yeah, yeah. So I will give you an example here. Alternatively, the reduced expletive, right? No BS. I'll include a T. 15. Okay. Indexes, so indicates a relaxation of social norms. Okay. Common in everyday vernacular. So everyday spoken language, relaxation of social norms because you're literally swearing, right? Um, this not only, you can say this not only attempts to build rapport by effacing the company's corporate image, okay, and replacing it with with an affable persona, but also furthers the colloquial informality. So it's informal because it's colloquial. It's informal because it's using everyday language and the social relaxation of social norms in there. Does that sort of make sense? That's how.
So with the build rapport one,
Yeah,
is that like, wouldn't that be like a purpose though?
you are right. So in this situation, because we have an example, right? Now, if you only sort of link this example to register, okay, then it's like you're not fully explaining this example. It just happens that this example not only links to register but also purpose. It's fine so long as purpose is not the main point. Can you see how I only mentioned build rapport? That's it. I end on what? I end on informality. So the thing is, yes, you are allowed to have a little bit of purpose, a little bit of function in your register paragraph, so long as that's not what the entire example is about. Okay, because the function purpose paragraph later, the example is entirely about function purpose. Does that sort of make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you are allowed to slightly mention a function or purpose if present, like if relate, like appropriate. Because why not? Like it just completes the elaboration, right? It makes it sound better and more rounded rather than just simply saying, oh, it's informal, it's formal, it's informal.
So what, like, as a rule of thumb, how many times, for how many examples out of my 6 examples can I link, like, briefly mention purpose or function?
Number one, yep, good question. Number one, it depends on the text, right? Because every text has different number of informality, different quality of examples. It's very hard to say, but oftentimes once or twice is condoned. You can talk about once or twice, so long as the focus is on informality. Yeah. So
So
out of
like if I have like really good, all my like let's just say a text is like, I don't know, like 10 really, really good features, but like I put like, and like five, like four, 3 of them have to be in like register.
mm,
Would like, would the examiners mark me down if I like, just talk about
no,
purpose a bit
that's
more?
fine. That's fine. So long as you've explained informality well, it's fine if some of the examples in your informality paragraph also relate to other things.
Yeah, so I can like draw links between the text as long as it's not like, it's not the most salient point that I'm talking about.
Yes, it's fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. And so that would be the register paragraph. And then the function purpose paragraph is entirely function purpose, which you're actually doing a good job right now. Right. So function purpose and cultural context, which is very good right now. And then the third body paragraph is just cohesion, coherence, which is 100% right now. So yeah, like I would say 45 features here, and then yeah, 45 features here. Yeah, I think it's just the register paragraph that you need to work on. Apart from that, the function purpose is really like you got the right component anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Uh, I think I forgot my question. I was
Oh,
gonna ask
okay.
something.
That's okay.
I mean, oh yeah, could you like, relative like to like an end of year performance, like how would this do?
Okay. Relative to end of year, well, that's hard to say because objectively, I have to mark this AC on what it's worth, right? But I can tell you, this AC has the potential of hitting this student essentially has the potential of getting a 14 on the exam because the analytical skills are there. The language is okay, but could improve. Not terrible. You have style, except we need to work on that. Structure can easily be fixed in the next month. So this student has the potential of getting a 14.
So what's like the best thing to do to like improve my like,
Analysis,
or like
everything.
what's the priority list of improving essentially?
Okay, priority list number one, focus on structure, obviously, because the structure right now is all over the place. Number two
Yeah.
is about depth of analysis. And so this is about with your analysis, you want to have more features on function, purpose, and cultural context. Okay, so prioritize those features. Better depth of analysis, which comes with a lot of practice, and I'll go through it, throughout the year. I'll teach you how to get better analysis. Number three is you focus more on the choice of examples and finding the best examples. And number four would be expressive style of language, which you need to develop. It's under development now, but yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah. I also have a question about the depth of analysis thing. Like sometimes I just feel like I'm only taking the feature like as it is as face value, and I don't really know how to like dig, if you know what I mean.
Then the example is probably bad. Then the example is probably bad. So most of the depth depends on the choice of examples. If the example is shallow, you're never going to have a deep analysis, right? So
Like, what would you like? For example, if we had like a good example, like how would you analyze it? Because like I feel like sometimes like I miss the point.
yeah. Okay. So how would you analyze it? It will be dependent on the perspective you take, right? So remember what I said about perspective, right? Did you take the perspective approach in analyzing this text? Okay. So did you imagine yourself as the director of Aussie Broadband? If you are the managing director of Aussie Broadband, how would you deliver an apology to Bente? What would you be looking for? Well, number one, I want to appear genuine. Okay, so basically, all best examples of this text must therefore be linked to the sense of genuineness and professionalism, and maybe Australian values of fair dinkum, right? Because fair dinkum because genuine, right?
Yeah.
Fair dinkum, stuff like that, not like scamming your customers and stuff, right? So does that make sense? So like any example which can be linked to these points would be the best examples of the text.
Yeah.
It's a top-down approach. If you take the perspective approach, imagine yourself as the parties involved, being a stakeholder. What are your number one goals? What kind of language would you use? Then you're aligning your analysis with the text, and you're getting always the best examples. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it takes practice. And how would you go about achieving 1, 2, 3, 4? Exposing yourself to as many texts as possible.
So would that be just like doing SAQs or like
SAQs, ACs, getting work from me, work from teacher, working with friends, any texts.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one question. It's not really related to the AC at all. With the SAQs, like I'm kind of like struggling to like write within the lines.
Right. Okay. Let me just end the recording here. I'll answer your question afterwards. Yep.